All right, what is going on, YouTube? Adonis coming back at you with a brand new video, and today we are going to be following the career of one Bo Nix. Now, this is a video idea that I kind of got from my generational running back, essentially, video that I made. If you guys didn't see that, go check it out. It was a blast. But it's kind of the same idea, right? And it's something that I want to do with all of the rookies as they go through their careers, right? Obviously, offensive linemen might not do those guys. That might be a little bit boring to watch. For the quarterbacks, wide receivers, cornerbacks, like skill positions, generally speaking, right? I think it's going to be very, very interesting to see how these guys develop, and Bo Nix is number one on the list, as the Broncos are of course my favorite team. So with that being said, within this file share, right, Bo Nix is a 72 overall with normal dev, sitting at 23 years old. He is the number 35 ranked quarterback in the NFL, right? So he's not even a top 32 QB in the league. There's only 32 teams, right? So that's not great, but he is going to be the guy that we follow throughout this essentially rebuild, or build, right? It's not going to be a rebuild in the sense that it's not about the team, right? It's about the player. And so we are just going to be following Bo Nix. We've got everything else on auto, so if he wants to, or if the CPU wants to trade Bo Nix, if they want to bench Bo Nix, right, we're going to be able to see that. And I think it's going to give us a really interesting kind of glimpse into, hey, potentially what these rookies careers could look like. So with that being said, without further ado, we are going to go ahead. We're going to try and jump through, I want to say between like 8 to 10 seasons, right? It's going to be a lot of simulating and then me kind of breaking down what's going on once the simulations are done. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the first season, and we are going to simulate straight to the playoffs and see how Bo Nix can do. All right, ladies and gentlemen, at the end of year one of Bo Nix's career, we are sitting at 4-13, and in all likelihood, it is because of the quarterback play. I am interested to see how did he do. 3,700 yards, not bad, but I mean 25 TDs to 19 picks. That's pretty tough, man. Rushing wise, how did our boy Bo do? He got it on the ground, right? 2 TDs on the ground with 264 yards. So actually creeping close to the 4,000 total yard mark, which is not bad. His top target last season was Cortland Sutton, with Josh Reynolds right behind him. And then we had Tim Patrick down the board, Adam Troutman, Javonte Williams, Dulcich got involved a little bit, right? Not a particularly strong, I would say, offense, right, for the Broncos. And as we can see, offensive pass yards per game was pretty much the only bright spot, as our defense was dreadful too. Interested to see, do the Broncos draft a quarterback here, right? I'm very intrigued to see what happens, and we are going to simulate to the next season, and then we will take a look at what the roster is looking like after that. All right, ladies and gents, so hopping into the lineup heading into the season, we generate our best lineup. We are still going to be rolling with Bo Nix. I do not know where the number one overall pick was, maybe at left tackle, I'm not entirely sure. Definitely interesting, right? It doesn't look like we got a lot better, even though we did have I don't know, I'm a little confused by that. We're supposed to probably have the number one overall pick. But without further ado, let's go ahead and simulate this season and see how our boy Bo can do. All right, ladies and gents, after the end of our second year, we are sitting at 9-8, which is definitely a step up from last season, right? And did the quarterback play improve? Not really at all, actually. Bo, with only 18 passing touchdowns on the season, still 3,600 yards, but the 13 picks is not good. Rushing wise, Bo, again, in total coming to close to 4,000 yards, but not really all that. Looks like Tyler Beatty, Javonte Williams, and Jaleel McLaughlin kind of carried the offense, right? Our top receiver was Josh Reynolds with Court behind him. Greg Dulcich got rocking and rolling. Mims as well, just not a lot of touchdowns, which is interesting. Likely that our defense was kind of bailing us out, right? With Jonah Ellis at 10 sacks. My goodness. Dude is going to be a stud in the NFL. And then a lot, yeah. So likely kind of a lot of production from our defense that kind of helped us out. But Bo Nix so far, I mean, if we check into his legacy leaderboard, right, if we go to quarterback, he's not going to be He's not going to be on this really at all. Yeah, he's going to be 35th ranked, right? So no Super Bowls, no championships, no yearly awards quite yet. Likely to probably pass up Mariota, Mac Jones, Jacoby Brissett here soon, but really got a lot of work to do to kind of climb up and continue to become a great quarterback in the NFL. So with all that being said, our boy Bo Nix is sitting at the number 28 ranked quarterback in the NFL right now. So he is better than 3 other starters, right? If we have 29, 30, 31, 32, 4. That's 4, ladies and gents. Better than 4 other starters in the NFL, which is nice, right? But still only normal dev, and he's gonna kind of hit this regression train pretty quickly. So we are gonna need to see some big seasons from our boy Bo. Without further ado, let's go ahead and sim to next season and then see what we can get rock and rolling with Bo Nix. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as we get into season 3, we can immediately see Bo Nix has been let go by the Broncos. The Bo Nix experiment is over after only 2 years, and the Denver Broncos have selected quarterback Brandon Crowder. Very, very interesting. I am intrigued to see where Bo lands, but I'll tell you who it's not with. It's not with the Broncos. That is absolutely crazy to me. So interestingly enough, Bo Nix is now playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now Fields is getting kind of up in age. Actually, I mean, realistically, Bo is 1 overall worse and just a year younger. So really interesting to see what's going to happen there, right? As you know, we're gonna try to continue to see Bo develop, and we're gonna hop over to the Steelers and take, control of them. Not gonna start Bo, of course, but we just, we want to be on the team that has him. So a change of scenery for Bo Nix, and I might add, I did not change this, right? I literally just got in here. Bo Nix is the starter for this Steelers team. Very interesting. I don't know why. I'm gonna hit generate best lineup, right? Because like Fields should probably be the starter there. But I mean, if the CPU doesn't like him, they'll bench him real quick. Big time change of scenery right here as they have George Pickens, Hunter Renfrow, Najee Harris, Freiermuth as well with Elijah Moore. Keon Coleman is on the Steelers now for some reason. But yeah, gonna be an interesting year for sure. So without further ado, let's go ahead. We'll simulate the year, see if Bo gets any playing time, and really realistically, like see, is he gonna be a legit starter in the NFL, or maybe he's just gonna bounce around to a couple teams. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the Steelers with Bo Nix on the team, right? That's the only reason why we are the Steelers right now. Went 8-9. They break the Mike Tomlin streak. For the love of God, tell me it was freaking Bo, dude. That would be so funny. All right, looks like Fields was the starter this season. Bo Nix relegated to just a backup after only 2 years of starting. That is crazy to see. Did he get any chances rushing? I would be really surprised. He did. He actually ran for a touchdown. All right, our boy is maneuverable, but he's 25 this season, right? And heading into his next season, he's going to be 26 with only like 2 real years of playing time. That is very interesting. I'm interested to see where does he end up after this, right? He didn't get playing time in Pittsburgh. He's a decent player because of Fields being younger and a higher overall. It makes sense that they would want to go with the kid. I mean, I would be kind of surprised if Bo's stuck with the Steelers. I mean, we will see. Without further ado, let's go ahead into next season and see where our boy Bo Nix ends up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, after Bo Nix's 4th season, or coming into Bo Nix's 4th season, my apologies, he is now on the Arizona Cardinals, which is crazy to me. This dude has gotten passed around. He did well his rookie year. 2nd year was a bit of a fall off. 3rd year did not play at all. And now he's not only sitting behind Kyler Murray, but behind Kyler Murray's successor in Arizona. This has been a fall from grace if I have ever seen one. But I think for most of us, it's not particularly surprising, right? Bo is kind of this older quarterback that may or may not function well in the NFL. He's got a lot of intangibles, quote unquote, where it's like, all right, he makes good decisions, he makes good plays, but like there's kind of a lot riding on him developing and being able to read NFL defenses and whatnot. And so I think this is really interesting to see. Without further ado, we're going to go ahead and simulate this season, see if Bo gets any more playing time, and then continue following what is likely to be a journeyman career for the quarterback out of Oregon. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, in Bo Nix's 4th year, he finally makes the playoffs with a team, assuming he is still on the team. Let's go ahead and check that. And yes, Bo Nix is still on the team. He has been relegated to the 4th quarterback. Group E is actually above him. That is insane to me, as, McMillan is going to be the successor to Kyler Murray, and I guess Bo was just brought in as a good backup option. All right, so taking a look at the stats, right? I mean, obviously, Bo Nix got no playing time. I don't think that surprises anybody. He did not rush nor pass for any yards this year. So again, at this point in his career, he has become relegated to a backup and likely journeyman spot. I mean, there are definitely quarterbacks that he is better than, but I mean, he's just not getting any playing time at these new teams, being probably brought in, again, as a backup or even maybe to compete with the quarterbacks realistically. Very interesting turn. I didn't expect this to happen so early in Bo's career, but I don't think it's particularly like surprising to anybody. With that being said, we are going to advance to the Super Bowl to see if the Cardinals are able to make it, and maybe Bo gets, you know, a little bit of a boost in his legacy rating, right? Because if he wins a Super Bowl, even though he's not the starter, he still gets a ring. And so it does, in fact, look like the Cardinals have won the Super Bowl. So again, a chance for Bo to kind of boost his, you know, I guess like overall legacy score, but not really getting the playing time at all that we would expect for him. Speaking of legacy score, this kid is stuck at a 770, which puts him right with a bunch of random folks like Kenny Pickett, right? Like Sam Darnold. So again, a kind of forgettable player, which I find to be really interesting. And you know what I'm realizing now is that the Cardinals did not make the Super Bowl, so I was just wrong about that. With that being said, we are gonna go ahead and sim to next season and see where our boy Bo Nix ends up. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, in Bo Nix's 5th season, he has landed on the Houston Texans, and I actually do think this is a genuine good shot for him to actually win some awards as a player, right? He's not gonna probably get any starts unless CJ Stroud gets injured. With that being said, though, like the Texans are very, very good in Madden, especially with these updated rosters. I mean, offensively and defensively, like they're pretty solid. So with that being said, let's go ahead and sim to the playoffs and see if our boy Bo gets any playing time. The last couple of years, he has just been a journeyman. But realistically, like, I would not be particularly surprised if we saw this kind of career arc from Bo Nix. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the Texans have finished with a 5-12 record. That is not good at all. And we see CJ Stroud looks like had probably a pretty rough year. Taking a look at the stats, Bo Nix did attempt to pass, but it was not completed. Rushing wise, did Bo Nix get any touches? It looks like he did not, so yet again, really just not finding his place in the NFL. And with that being said, we are going to move on quickly to the next season where undoubtedly he is likely going to be on a new team. So ladies and gents, in Bo Nix's 6th season in the NFL, he is now on the New Orleans Saints, who have an 82 overall quarterback. This might actually be the best shot that Bo has had in a while at potentially getting playing time over another player. I am very intrigued to see what happens as Bo, again, like, it really has not done anything with his career of note to this point. If we hop into the quarterback's position, we are going to have to go all the way down to try and find the kid at 41. 770 legacy score. It has not increased over the last, I don't even know how many seasons, right? So we really need to see Bo start to turn it up, or maybe he'll just have a really long career in the NFL as a backup. I could totally see that. And so, ladies and gents, say it with me without further ado. Let's go ahead and sim to the playoffs and see if our boy Bo maybe gets a little bit of playing time this year. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So at the end of the season with the Saints, they went 5-12 and actually are getting like pretty close to Bo potentially starting over Everett. Everett is playing down to an 80 overall. Bo is up to a 79. Taking a look at the stats, Bo threw for 14 yards, 2 attempts, 1 completion for a touchdown. Love to see it. Rushing wise, Bo also had a single rush for 6 yards, which, you know, we love to see. You know, getting a little bit of touches, but I do kind of wonder, like, could this be a team that he sticks with, right? Obviously, the starter that they have is not cutting it. Could Bo potentially get some playing time next year? We will see as we move into Bo Nix's 7th season in the NFL. All right, ladies and gents, while I thought we may have had something with the Saints It looks like we are now on the Lions, right? Which is, I mean, just this kid is going through it. With that being said, the Lions have a crazy offense with Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon-Ra, Rome Odunze, Jamison Williams, Sam Laporta, right? Penei Sewell as well. They have a 77 overall quarterback, right? But maybe Bo gets some playing time this year. We will see. This is going to be very, very interesting. And let's just get into it. Let us sim to the playoffs and see if our boy Bo finally gets some playing time. If he doesn't, we're going to simulate one more year and then that's going to be it, because we're just going to keep, he's going to be a backup forever, right? So ladies and gentlemen, the Detroit Lions finished 5-12. I'm starting to think Bo Nix might be a curse. Potentially. Yeah, just not getting any production at this point. 2 completions on 3 attempts for 16 yards. Rushing wise, did he run the ball at all? The answer is no. I highly doubt he received the ball, but you can never be too sure in Madden. So with that being said, that is going to be the second to last season. We're going to simulate to the next season, see where Bo inevitably ends up or gets traded to, and then we will go from there. Very interesting kind of career, and we'll break it all down at the end. All right, ladies and gentlemen, in Bo Nix's 8th season in the NFL, he is on his 6th different team now, I believe, sitting behind Bryce Young on the Las Vegas Raiders. Very interesting. As we can see, Brock Bowers has developed quite well, while Bo Nix has not. Highly doubt he's going to get playing time, but we are still going to simulate just to see. And at the end, we'll go ahead and break everything down for you guys. Take a look at all the spots he bounced around to and see where he ranks all time in quarterbacks. All right, ladies and gents, the Raiders that Bo Nix is on finish at 10-7, top of the AFC West. So a legit shot for Bo to potentially get a little bump before the end of this video in terms of his legacy score. With that being said, he was not the starter. It was all Bryce Young. Bo had 1 completion for 4 yards and 1 rush for 6 yards. Do not feel like going over to the stats to show that to you guys, show the minimal yards and stuff that he got. Without further ado, let's go ahead and see how the Raiders can fare in the wild card round against a vaunted Cincinnati offense. All right, so that vaunted Cincinnati offense absolutely killed the Raiders. So with that being said, that is gonna bring us to the end of this video, right? Let's take a look at the stats. Let's take a look at Bo's all-time legacy leaderboard and just see, like, you know, what is going on here, man? Like, so Bo Nix finishes with a 772. The 40th ranked quarterback on this, out of the current quarterbacks, behind Kenny Pickett, above someone like Desmond Ridder and Zach Wilson, so I guess that's decent. Drake May, another quarterback that we will be doing this with, finished with a 6,000 legacy score, which is great to see. Jaden Daniels finishes with an 8,000, almost 9,000 legacy score. JJ McCarthy, oh my God, that dude's a baller. And number 1, of course, is Patrick Mahomes, who is now on the Panthers. That is bizarre. With that being said, though, Bo Nix in his entire career in 7 years, which like technically 8 years, threw for 7,439 yards. He completed 66% of his passes with 45 touchdowns to 32 interceptions. Has played 118 games, which is kind of crazy. Like, I don't even know how that's possible. And then rushing wise, Bo, 566 yards with 3 rushing touchdowns. No fumbles, left to see it. He did break 13 tackles throughout his career. So again, really underwhelming from the Broncos' first round pick here, but I would not be surprised if we saw this with a couple of other quarterbacks from this draft as we go through and do this for every single player. If you guys did enjoy the video, please go ahead, drop a like, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you guys would like to see next. I love you all. Have a great rest of your day. And as a Broncos fan, I pray that Bo Nix is better than this. Peace out, guys. Take care.